What is going on, guys? In today's video we are doing a comparison between the Golf R and the Golf R. Just an exterior walk around and see what the difference is between the Mark 8 and the Mark 7. Now without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right on to the video. Alright guys, so here we have the Mark 7 on your left and the Mark 8 on your right. Now this feels like deja vu because I had a Mark 6 and a Mark 7 right next to each other, and the next thing that happened, I picked up the Mark 7. Unfortunately, today's video is not the case because this Mark 8 is already pre-sold. So if you have any questions or comments or want to reach out to the dealership, we are at Trend Volkswagen in Rockaway, New Jersey. Now this Mark 8, again, as I mentioned, is already sold, but if you want any type of inquiries, I'll leave the information in the comments down below. But before anything else, let's get right into the video. Now, in today's video, we are going to be doing a compare and comparison on the exterior features of the Mark 8 versus the Mark 7. Now, here you have it. In a way, it's more like a transitional change for sure, right? You can see a lot of similarities between both, but again, you can see, oh, they made a couple of changes here and there, right? And hopefully the wind is not too much, but let's go ahead and just touch up on the front of it. Now the Mark 7, what I like about the Mark 7, and again, I'm going to try to not be as opinionated in the video as much as I can, but coming from owning or being a Mark 7 owner, it's really hard to not state the opinions, right? So anyway, in the Mark 7, what I like about the Mark 7 is the daytime running lights, the quad U's right there when it's on. Has you here, versus the Mark 8 lights, which is a little bit more narrower, less aggressive. Overall, the front end of the Mark 8 is aggressive in my opinion, but it's not as aggressive when it comes to the lighting. Now, there are benefits to the Mark 8, however. The Mark 8 has LED lighting with adaptive LEDs whenever you turn and swivel. It swivels to your direction. Same thing with the bi-xenons in the Mark 7, pre-facelift, so it doesn't have the LEDs. But it also has adaptive cornering. So it has cornering lights, same thing with the Mark 8, however, it's a little bit different in light output. Now, in terms of the air ducts, or the brake ducts right here, for allow to cool the brakes, it's a little bit more pronounced on the Mark 7 versus a little bit more hidden in the Mark 8. But the Mark 8 has the gloss black, or more like a flat front sensors for your parking, versus the color matched on the Mark 7. Overall, the Mark 8, again, I would say it's a little bit more aggressive for the front, besides the lights. But you have a daytime running the light bar right there, for you to go ahead and create more of a distinctive feature versus the Mark 7. However, I think Volkswagen is doing the whole light bar throughout the whole lineup. On the center grille right there, it is not color matched to the Lapis Blue Pure White or the Deep Black Pearl that is coming. The Mark 8 is offered in 3 colors only for now. So this is gloss black only, all right? So that's an interesting look in terms of that. But moving to the side, we have a little bit of like these vortex looking generator slats on the side right here for design purposes, versus those fake ones. Both are fake, but you know, it's different designs. Again, going back to my point, oh, I see what they did there, the tiny changes. Now, in the Mark 7, they have amber side markers inside, integrated in the housing. So maybe it's a little bit easier to go ahead and form or do an overlay, right? Making this headlight housing a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more meaner, versus the return of the exterior side markers. The amber side markers found in the Mark 6 generation, it's back. Both cars are running on 19-inch rims. So 235, 35, 19s, Pretorias. I do not know the design, OEM design, or code name of these wheels, but these are also looking brittle. So definitely go ahead and take advantage of maybe a warranty for your tire and wheels. These are Continentals on the Mark 7, but hand cooks on the Mark 8. Mark 8 has a lot more personality in terms of brake calipers, blue painted brake calipers, with drilled rotors and a little bit more personalization with the R on the wheel itself, versus a black painted caliper and your old R logo right there, and just your just getting your plain surface rotors right there. Either way, not complaining about the braking performance of this versus the braking performance of this. I think these are 4-piston brakes, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. This car has not been PDI'd yet or whatnot, so the center caps are not installed either. But that's a good time to go ahead and order the dynamic R caps from the sales department, right? To get it fit that. However, funny thing is, these are 19235s. We don't have the 3M stick-on fender extensions here versus the same here, right, on the 2017s. I guess maybe DOT regulations updated between those years. Mirrors, we have your gloss black from factory from the 2017s, and even the Mark 7.5s versus the satin chrome here. Integrated turn signals. I have the dynamic ones aftermarket, but you could go ahead and do dynamic ones for the Mark 8 as well. You have your chrome R fender badges versus your all black fender badges with the chrome R and the new logo on the side. But overall, I think the side of the Mark 7 versus the Mark 8, the silhouette, the profile, side profile is similar, very, very similar, besides the wheels, I guess. Now, reaching to the back, however, that's where everything kind of changes. Now, in the back, I do have like an aftermarket spoiler right there, which kind of protrudes out a little bit, making it a little bit more aggressive. However, when you take a look at the Mark 8 silhouette on the side, in terms of the side profile, this extension piece, the side wing, the rear wing, or the rear spoiler, definitely sticks out. It definitely looks nice. Now, right here is the blue part, and right here is a gloss black part. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to move with more fluidity. I don't have a gimbal with me right here. Now, as we take a look at the side profile, you can already see it's a lot more aggressive. All right, you see that rear wing right there? Extends out. All right. Now again, here is a closer look at the front rims. All right. And overall, the differences in terms of the mirrors, I'm surprised these are not folding. So that's unfortunate, but these do not power fold. There is an option, of course, right? Watch many videos, especially with Humble Mechanics video, but there is a puddle light here that projects a R logo to the ground. Now, compared to the Mark 7, this also has integrated integrated LED lights along the handles to help you at night, right? And LED taillights versus the OEM Euro taillights here. That's also LED. But you could always go ahead and retrofit the Euro LED lights onto your Golf R. Now, moving to the interior, I think that's where everything starts to kind of differentiate in terms of the UI, or the most controversial part of the Mark 8 generation. But here we have the stenciled out, or right here, the etching of the Volkswagen, as you can see from here. That's being protected by this white protective film versus nothing here. So that's something new about the Mark 8. All right. Blind spot monitoring is no longer on this edge. Blind spot monitoring is on the here, where the Mark 7 is, right there. I'm not quite sure. The lighting is off, right? We're at a really shaded area. But if you see from the reflection right there, the blind spot is actually integrated here, so it's more Audi-like. So that in itself is a huge upgrade in terms of safety. All right. Now, as we open right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just take a closer look inside. Actually, this is sold ordered. This does not have protective. It's carpeted here, so I'm not gonna step into that part. I might go ahead and reach around to the driver's side. Now, in terms of the Mark 8 interior, that's where everything is different. Everything is more electric, more haptic. And as you can see from here, this has memory seating. So once you go ahead and open a door, I think it retracts back to its default positioning, which is a huge plus versus the Mark 7. So that's an upgrade in itself as well. Now, along from here, they do have differences in terms of handlebars, a handle redesign. It's now flat versus on the vertical side. Repositioned right here is your knob for your mirrors. As you can see from here, the blind spot monitoring is located right there. All right. Now I want to go ahead and just take a look to see if, actually I'll do it later. I want to give you guys a comparison between the handles. Anyway, so let's take a look at the Golf R steering wheel. A little bit less of a flat bottom now versus I think it went, I don't know, the Mark 6 was the most flat bottom steering wheel, and the Mark 5 actually, Mark 5 into the Mark 6. The Mark 7 generation started being more angular. This one is the same thing, however, I think the bolstering, the perforations on the side, everything makes it a really comfortable steering wheel to hold. Now in terms of the dead pedal, brake, throttle, that's very familiar in itself. All right. And overall, the difference is the memory seating that you see here. And of course, the integrated headrest, the sports seats, the blue contrast stitching, the blue piping here, the blue hue in which you see inside the perforations right there, all right, versus the Golf R and the Mark 7. Now here we have an all-digital all-digital display, as you can see from here. All right, and your paddle extensions from factory right here. These are plastic, not metal, non-metal, right? But still, they extend like so up top. So it's very nice. All capacitive touch, that's the difference. Capacitive touch here, capacitive touch all throughout. Memory seating, the volume, everything. Tactile in the center, right there in the hazards, and tactile with your push start. It does not have the pulsating red start stop. That's only exclusive to the GTI. Chiclet style shifter. All right, electronic shifter. And this portion right here is the newly, I think the camera's picking up, but the carbon fiber design that is different than the GTI. GTI has like honeycomb. This one has a different type of carbon fiber. Like as you can see from here, this is the kind of same material as pre-gloss black. So if you can see from here, this is like the same material is found on this aftermarket badging. But the thing is, the coating actually faded out, so you see everything underneath, which is kind of just a flat material. Same situation or same design as you see in the Mark 8 in a way. Very, very reminiscent, very similar, as you can see from here. All right, like that. All right, and in terms of differences when it comes to like your door sills, this is no longer here, right? It used to be in the Mark 7, this used to be illuminated. I'll show you guys the difference right after this. Glove box wise, this is no longer felted. I'm gonna go ahead and just maybe give you guys, I don't know, camera's acting up right now, but it's no longer felted, right? But it's dampened. No more CD player. Again, updates are done over the air, I believe. No more CD player. No locking glove box. A redesigned vent here. Slide all the way to the right to close. Slide over to the left to close. Right to open. Up and down for directional. Right. Of course, you have your moonroof, letting a lot more light. All right, memory seating on the passenger, no. Manual, lumbar, manual, height adjustment, manual, front and back. Only thing that's power is power recline. All right, but same thing, you have your R embossed logo that you see from here that I don't think I could, right here. Right there is your R. So I don't want to do anything to the car because it is a sold order. Other than that, you do have ambient lighting right along here. 30-way adjustable ambient lighting along here as well. All right. Now I will go ahead and try my best to get the keys for a more interior look, but the rear is very familiar. Besides the fact that you do have tri-zone climate control, and you have two USB-Cs on the bottom right there to charge passenger phones. But the Golf in its segment is one of the few to offer rear seat vents, so that's a plus, and also a center pass-through. blue piping or blue inserts on the headrest to give it more personality. Compared to GTI, this is a lot more darker. All right, but it does have all this like carbon fiber material, making it smoother. And this leather, the Napa leather here is much more plush. All right, versus the Mark 7 Golf R right here. Right off the bat, you already see the illuminated door sills, all right, and your ambient lighting here. However, this is only fixed to blue lighting, right? Other than that, this does not have memory seating. It has an analog speedometer and tachometer, pre-facelift of course, and your Discover Pro in the center. All right, and other than that, it has the same type of, I guess your rear view mirror that's auto dimming. All right, this one has an actual shifter versus electronic shifter. Push stop, which is different, circular. Your your electronic e-brake is also carried over to the Mark 8. Right here, everything looks familiar in terms of your dead pedal, your brake, and your throttle. All right. And there's nothing really much that you guys know all about the Mark 7, right? But here we have the original Mark 7 door handle, which is illuminated right here with the LED, right? And your toggle switches for the mirrors is located up here versus down here. So I think in the Mark 8 that is a nice relocation. So you can kind of fine tune your mirror positioning easier. But overall, here we have the rear of it. The R logo is located down here in the middle. The emblem is reminiscent of the front, looks similar to the front. So in order for you to kind of customize it, you will have to go for an overlay to black it out. The R emblem here, the new logo, is centered versus the left location on the Mark 7. Overall, it does have gloss black. I mean, it does have quad tips. These are like kind of painted aftermarket or painted OEM. However, these right here look a lot more like the new GTI type of double wall tips. So these are quad tips as well. The center valance is a little bit more aggressive. I mean, the center diffuser is a little bit more aggressive from factory. And overall, a lot of gloss black. A lot of gloss black happening. And I think that's about it for, I'm not quite sure what I haven't touched up on, but overall, very nice. Very nice. If you guys have any questions, maybe leave it in the comments down below. Rear hatchback space. Let me touch up on that. Rear hatchback space. Very familiar. Now this one has LED lighting above here and also a 12 volt here, but this LED is aftermarket, right? I think same amount of rear hatch space, very similar, but for the Mark 8, 12 volts right there, and also this comes standard, the LED lighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and just close this up. This is open, all right? This is a little bit different, all right? This is just kind of like a plastic tab, kind of caps over, a little bit more like less quality versus this one, I think, which is spring loaded. Yeah, this one's spring loaded, so that's different, right? This one feels a little bit more softer, more felt, versus this one a little bit more rougher in material. But overall, very similar. Center pass through, 3 top tether anchors right across. No spare. Same as the Mark 7, no spare. You have to retrofit an old spare. All right, so here we have the Mark 7 engine bay. This one's a little bit different. This one's it's not tuned, but it's modified with the aftermarket APR intake. All right, this is the engine cover from the older generation. All right, and an intake hose. But overall, very familiar layout versus, and we have a, well, this is aftermarket too, the battery cover. However, in the Mark 8, here we have the biggest difference in a way is the manual hood prop, as you see from here, versus the hood struts right there. So that is something that you have to maybe get used to. But overall, the engine layout, engine is the same. More power, more torque, different turbo. Airbox is the same, intake hose. One thing I want to know is whether or not, yes, so this is blocked off again in the newer generation Mark 8s. And then you have air coming from the passenger side into here, and then being force-fed air into the stock airbox. Now here you see it's blocked off like a Euro plate on our Mark 7, but it's variable, acts as the flapper. You can see from here. At higher speeds, you could go ahead and maybe cool off the engine, right? The block off plate opens, I guess, versus the Mark 7 where we have, this is actually fixed. This is open from factory, but you go ahead and order a block off plate that kind of blocks off everything into here. So again, right here, we did open up the right side, or the left-handed driver's side, to go ahead and force feed air directly into the intake. I'm assuming the Mark 8 owners, incoming Mark 8 owners, might do the same thing. Similar. Battery, there's a battery sleeve, but no battery cover, or no battery cloth sleeve that covers everything. So that's a little bit different. All right. You have a little bit of sound insulation here. You have to worry about that in the future, where it kind of comes off, like mine, like right there. All right. But overall, I think that's about it. I think that's a little bit different. And oh, this part is different. This part's completely redesigned, right? Back in the Mark 7, we have to kind of zip tie this, because if this breaks apart, this portion right here, the cable actually is like, there's a ball bearing right there that you could, without this covering, that cable could come up and snap in a way. So having said that, you won't be able to go ahead and open your hood, because the hood latch right here is located right over here. Versus the Mark 8. Mark 8, they actually fixed it. The Mark 8, here you see the redesigned hood latch, all right? So that won't happen. You can go ahead and open, you won't be locked out, and you won't have to mess up your emblems like in the Mark 7. Now luckily, in the Mark 7, my Mark 7 didn't happen, but in order to do a preventative measure, you have to do this. Now, I think definitely this is it. And I'm gonna go ahead and just close up the hood and end my time with the Mark 8. Congratulations to this new Mark 8 owner for sure. And if you guys have any questions about whether or not to secure your own, hit up Trend Motors for sure. And thank you guys for watching. Take care.